All schools are now required to have a policy on how they provide for their gifted and talented pupils. Each school will identify 5 to 10% of its pupils as gifted and talented. These will be the pupils who are the most able or have the potential to be the most able within a particular school. They will include children from all walks of life and backgrounds.
Before I found out that I was on the gifted and talented list, I had a friend, she was on the gifted and talented list, and she was incredibly smart, and I always wanted to be like her.
The gifted are those who demonstrate academic ability or potential.
People actually look up to you, and they see you on the gifted and talented register, and they think that, yeah, if he can do it, I can.
The talented are those who demonstrate artistic or sporting potential.
Tennis doesn't come easy. You have to work. It's helped me trying to reach to my dream, really.
Some children will be both gifted and talented.
I know that I'm working very hard in this and that I should continue to work hard and that I can achieve higher.
In this film, we will see how a range of primary and secondary schools help to challenge, extend and stretch these children so they can realise their potential.
If you're going to be good at something, you're going to have to put in the effort. There's no shortcut, there's no easy way out.
Work hard, and if you've got dreams, try and fulfill them, because that's the only way you're going to get there.
For parents wanting to know how to support their child's learning, the first port of call is the school. Finding out what is on offer and taking advantage of it is vital.
These children, they're like sponges. They just will learn so quickly. They're very demanding. And as young children, as toddlers, and even as they grow up, this thirst and this inquisitiveness, that always has to be met.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Providing a stimulating learning environment, like inspirational science lessons at Christchurch Primary, is key to the identification of able children.
There's nothing like a real experiment for kids to get involved in, to get their enthusiasm. You really have to get kids going at a much earlier age.
Go. Don't look down. Don't.
Schools monitor and re-evaluate who is identified as gifted and talented as children's strengths and abilities come to light. Schools will use a mixture of ways to identify pupils to make sure that no one is missed.
I think obviously subjects like art and science to some extent and maths sort of transcend different languages. So it's looking out for those children, not just the children that actually can speak the most clearly in English.
In some schools, the principle of teaching to the top of the class to raise standards for all has already become a way of life. Most schools believe that the classroom is the best place to stretch and stimulate children.
What did we say was a little bit more challenging about doing scene 3, Mark?
There's no speech at all.
There is no speech at all.
All the teachers at Hampden Gurney plan and differentiate to challenge or support all the children in their class.
Within the class today, they were all working within their own levelled groups, and I differentiated the work, obviously 3 ways for 3 different levels of grouping.
The gifted and talented coordinator is usually a teacher who manages the needs of the gifted and talented.
You have to put all the animals that are the same together, but as well the ones that are the same colour. These activities always have some cognitive conflict. They need to think, stop and think, and suddenly something's tricky, and they need to really think hard to find an answer.
If you put all the adult ducks in one column, like this, and then you can put all of them like that.
For us particularly, Miss Ava was always constantly talking to us about how the children were doing and about their work. She was also telling us about other things that we could be doing. For instance, in Year 5, extra classes in maths.
What we're looking at today is something that you don't always do in primary school. It's called algebra. Put your hands up if you've heard of algebra.
Transition to secondary school is a particularly difficult time. Finding the right school is important. Many secondary schools form partnerships with local primary schools to help identify and motivate potential gifted and talented students.
We use data a great deal to help identify students. With students in Year 7, for instance, we have just used in their Key Stage 2 prior attainment data. This gives us a broader picture of what gifted and talented is, not only in the core subjects, but also the non-core subjects.
Other schools might specialise in sporting potential. At Capital City Academy, sport is strongly linked to developing leadership skills.
All you're going to try and do is run from here down to the end of the ladder without touching any bits of the metal or the material. Ready, go.
We have a battery of tests that we do for prospective Year 7s in Year 6. So they come in January to do 14 tests, which are based on the fundamental skills. So that's agility, balance, coordination, speed striking, kinesthetic awareness, gliding, and buoyancy.
Well done, well done, well done, well done.
At secondary school, the opportunities to really develop particular strengths are even greater. Finding out how the school provides for gifted and talented pupils and taking advantage of what is on offer is vital. Thomas was identified as gifted and talented at primary school.
I live with my mum and an only child. My mum's a single parent. I'm in year 9. I'm just preparing for my SATs. Got my mock SATs in, I don't know how long, but just very soon. Got my real SATs next year, so I'm just preparing, and the school helping me prepare as well.
Now then, if my foot or your foot was under there, or if it was under here, which one would hurt more and why? Thomas?
I think the ballerina's foot will hurt more.
At Eastleigh, he's being encouraged to further identify his own learning styles and academic strengths.
My strengths are really maths and science, because it's just maths, English, science. People find it a bit boring, but here in the school it's not really boring. It's really fun. It's different styles of learning all the time. We're going to explain to you what pressure is, so can you all huddle up?
More closer.
Come on, you're mostly girls, just I'm waiting, so.
One technique used to stretch gifted and talented students is putting them in the teacher's role so that they can demonstrate their understanding to the rest of the class.
You may not weigh much, you still have a concentrated level of pressure. True?
True.
Thank you. When I'm older, I'd like to become an investment banker. Most of the colleges, they want you to have an A in your GCSEs. In university, you need to get a Master in Business Administration, and then that's it. Then you can be the best investment banker to the best of your ability.
Hannah was runner-up in the Wimbledon final for her age group. Her coach believes she can make the world's top 100.
When I was probably about 2.5, I used to sit on the side of the tennis court and watch my dad play. And that's how I really started to like the game, when I started taking lessons after that. And then from then on, just kept on playing.
She loves play tennis, she loves coming to school. She trains sometimes twice a day, Saturdays, and she competes weekends.
Okay, so what we're going to be doing today, Hannah, is working towards looking at Act 2, Scene 2.
To fulfil her sporting ambitions, Hannah trains 3 afternoons a week. To help her keep up with her academic subjects, Capital City provides one-to-one teaching. Her teachers are well aware of the demands of her training and the effect it can have on her.
Often important that academic and sport doesn't necessarily go side by side. It should be stage, not age. The academic will often wait another year. That opportunity to get into the British team or go to the Commonwealth Games or the Olympic Games won't wait. So we have to make an assessment of where the student is and how well we can support them in achieving on both sides.
Go, 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 go!
Schools will support gifted and talented students in making what are sometimes very difficult choices.
Ali Saidi, who's in year 13, has faced a very significant crunch in the last 6 months about whether he was going to get a realistic chance of breaking into professional tennis, and he's decided probably not. He's not let go of his sporting commitments. He's just refocused that on becoming a very good club, regional, amateur player and a superb coach.
I want to instill into these kids the hope and the motivation and, you know, the belief in them that they can succeed.
He's switched his focus back to his A-levels, and we think he's got a realistic chance of getting into Oxbridge, or at least a very good chemical engineering degree course, and that's what he's concentrating on.
Emily is one of the pupils identified as gifted and talented at St Marylebone School. She excels in many of her academic subjects and music.
In my music lessons last year, my teacher recognised I was good at music, and so I was one of the selected few to acquire percussion lessons.
Emily just seemed to sort of pick things up very quickly. She was able to hold her harmony part. She's just very rhythmical, that type of thing. So we just thought, let's push this pupil, let's give her an opportunity that will allow her to achieve fantastic things. To push her even more, we put her straight into the senior orchestra.
It's very fun because on the Sunday ski one I also start off the piece and you can hear me above everybody else and all the violins and the flutes. But if you've got a headache, it's not very fun.
Right, tell me subjects which you think you're doing that are your strengths, that you're doing well in.
Some schools will use individual learning programmes to support gifted and talented students.
Is there anything that you think this school could offer that we don't already do? Well, we provide for the gifted and talented. I keep an eye on them and I meet them and I talk to them, but there just might be extensions that those pupils can do, Saturday schools that they can be invited to, that type of thing. But in the lessons, generally, you just aim high for every pupil.
Schools nationwide are now offering more and more challenging opportunities to help students.
Parents have never got the opportunities that we got to have, and they're at the fact that I'm taking advantage of the opportunities that I have in the school.
Many schools work with leading cultural and academic institutions to provide additional opportunities for students outside school and to widen their horizons.
It gives them an opportunity to look at experiences which are beyond the normal classroom, enables them to work together closely as a group, develop expertise in an area, and then we can extend upon that within the school curriculum.
They've made sure that I know what my goal is, being pushed to the limit, as I know it's going to benefit me.
Most boys, they see something they want, they're not so focused on school, but with this, keeps him on the straight and narrow.
You can often get that you're being a pushy parent, but you're not. You know, if your child is able to do things very easily, then they need further stimulation. Now, if that teacher doesn't recognise that, then you need to go further.
To find out more about gifted and talented and how best to support your child, the school is always the first place to start. For further advice and resources, there are organisations that focus on gifted and talented development. They can also help parents with decisions about their child's future.
Ibrahim Dahir sums a lot up about this school and the way the talented sports programme contributes. He came as a refugee from West Africa 4 or 5 years ago, was part of the team that won the National League and Cup Championship in England last year, earned the Man of the Tournament award, and now has a scholarship to do sport at Appalachian State University in North Carolina. Therefore, he's got the realistic possibility of entering professional basketball in the US. Now that is a fantastic achievement.
I could see myself playing in the NBA for 15 years or so.
It's better than that because he's a wonderful young man who has also developed as a very fine leader of other young people, did huge work for us last year as one of our elite athletes, has cashed that in now in a gap year as a teaching assistant in the academy.
I'm working with 2 kids here. They're my priority, but I work with the whole class as a group. So I'm with them in all their lessons. So it really brings out leadership in you. Everyone can make it, depending on how determined you are.